We're going to learn about the blood in this video. The blood is composed of 4 different parts. There's the platelets, red blood cells, plasma, and white blood cells. So we're going to go through each of them, starting with plasma. Plasma consists of about 55% of the blood. It's mostly water, but it also has plasma proteins and electrolytes. There are also glucose, amino acids, which we learned about in a previous unit, hormones, waste, and gases like CO2, O2, free O2, not O2 that's in blood cells. Blood cells are made in the bone marrow, which is the inner part of the bone, and all blood cells start out as hematopoietic cells and then differentiate from there. So that's basically the stem cell. They're called pluripotent stem cells, and then they differentiate into either white blood cells, red blood cells, so on and so forth from there. Plasma is mostly water, so that just comes from your diet, and platelets are pieces of red blood cell, which we'll get to. The red blood cells are unique in that they don't have a nucleus. So they are unlike any other cell in the body. There is no nucleus in them. Red blood cells are also called erythrocytes. So you'll see them both ways as either red blood cells or erythrocytes. They don't make any proteins. They don't divide because they don't have a nucleus, so they can't. They have no genetic material to divide, like in the cell cycle. There's no genetic material to split. So that's what's unique about a red blood cell. Red blood cells also have hemoglobin, which this picture looks kind of scary and daunting, but don't let it freak you out. Hemoglobin is just a protein that carries oxygen, and red blood cells are full of them, and that's what gives them their red color. The more oxygen attached to a hemoglobin, the redder the color. So that's why the arterial blood is such a bright red, and venous blood is more like a brick red because it doesn't have as much O2. And the hemoglobin carries the blood throughout the body. Platelets are little pieces of red blood cells, which you can see them here. You can see the platelets there. They're kind of like the red blood cells that are no longer able to be used. So the body cuts them up into little pieces. So it's just got the proteins that were present, the collagen, and different proteins, different signaling molecules in them. And how clotting works, how platelets work, which we're not going to get too much into clotting, that'll be in another video, is you have the activated platelets, which get activated by cytokines, which we'll get into when we talk about metabolism, which signal for this fibrin, this protein, to make like these, kind of like a net over a cut or some kind of damage. And that net captures the red blood cells, and the red blood cells form a clot scabs, and it heals, so on and so forth. So we'll get into the clotting mechanisms a little later, but that's kind of all you need to know for this. The last component of blood is the white blood cells, which is actually a part of the immune system more than it is a part of the cardiovascular system. But they're these right here. They're multinucleated. They carry. They'll destroy pathogens. They get rid of any kind of bad gunk in the body. They get rid of dead cells. They just kind of keep everything how it should. So let's briefly review. Plasma is mostly water, but it also carries proteins and nutrients. And it's 55% of the blood. So that's an important number to remember. 55% of the blood, approximately, is plasma. Red blood cells, we'll call them RBC for short, have no nucleus, which is important to know. There's no nucleus. They are biconcave, which means they kind of slope in like this. There's two of them and they slope in like this, and that just provides more surface area to carry more oxygen. They're biconcave and they don't divide. They don't divide because they don't have a nucleus. So that's red blood cells or erythrocytes. And then white blood cells fight infection. That's kind of all you need to know for this unit. When we get into the cardiovascular system or the immune system, we'll learn more about the different types of white blood cells and what they do. And then there's platelets, which form clots. Platelets, that's not right. Platelets, yeah. They form clots and help in the healing process. And if you remember from the beginning of the year, what type of feedback is blood clotting? If any of you remember, note that down and we will talk about it the next time we come to class. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate